We are going to upgrade the infotainment system and taillights of this Mini to look like the latest cars coming from Mini. We are currently traveling across the country to deliver this car to my sister. Doing these mods en route will not only show how easy it is to install these mods, but also test them in real-world applications. I hope you enjoy. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you have not yet, as it helps us out. My name is Ethan, and welcome to Car Creations. It's going to take us 24 hours and 1 hour. Currently,
so 25 hours.
25 hours. After a quick fuel stop, we were on the road and down from Ontario into Michigan.
Oh, our arrival time's 1:47? It's 1:47. We should be there right now. What's happening?
Despite cop after cop, no one really seemed interested in our little blue Mini. So our biggest issue so far was the base Mini infotainment system.
You know, having a phone up here is really annoying.
And without music, we may or may not have gone a little bit stir crazy. Thankfully, we have the system from Germet. And this road trip is the perfect test of its everyday usage.
Finally made it into Indiana. How are you feeling, Ethan?
Very excited.
We're gonna stop pretty soon and do our first mod.
Creature comfort for our trip. And I have been thinking about this for a very long time, so.
I did tell him I wouldn't drive until we had this mod.
So as we entered Indiana, we pulled over for our roadside installation, which took about 30 minutes.
Hello?
Are you Ben Gore? Did you have issues with the infotainment system?
Yeah, this thing is junk. Oh my goodness.
Let's get this thing installed.
Did you bring a screwdriver?
I don't know why.
Uh-oh.
Take this off up here. There we go.
Why is the box on the windshield?
Our next step, take this thing off. In order to do that, there are two clips under here. The video to see how quickly you think you remove an infotainment system. Let's move this. Now we have a screw right here. Mustn't lose these screws. Comes loose, there we go. So now we just have to disconnect all these. Quad lock port, pop these up like that. Get that out. We now have the new infotainment system. But before we do that, we have to take out the air conditioning unit, which is usually pretty easy. There we go. Now we can put in the replacement. Going back.
Looks really good.
That's pretty nice, I like it. Quad lock port. This microphone is for your Apple CarPlay, so you can talk to it. Put that in a better spot later, but. I think we have everything. Push this in. Now this is where you put the bolts back in, or the screws, sorry. Plug in this ribbon cable, and we are gonna test this. You know, all this is lit nicely. And let's see if I can turn this right off. Nice. Looks like it works. Okay, let's put the screen on. Oh.
Testing RPMs.
It's a little bit slow, the RPMs are, but that's okay.
Alrighty, let's see. Apple CarPlay, don't
No,
talk
they
to
can
me.
see, they can see.
Oh, okay. Apple CarPlay, we can get some Chick-fil-A. Sweet, let's go.
And thankfully Ben's driving, so I finally get a chance to take a look at this infotainment system. Now this infotainment system is actually very responsive. Now it's definitely reading a couple kilometers higher than what my car's cluster is reading. So I pulled up Waze, and the GPS on Waze is actually reading a couple kilometers higher than the car's new infotainment system. So who knows what's right. As we reached Chicago, it started to get dark, and our screen was extremely bright. Took a little bit, and I finally was able to figure out how to turn down the screen brightness. You go to car settings, camera, then brightness. And there are a ton of features here. You have Wi-Fi, language, date and time. You can get it to learn your steering wheel keys. However, we actually found that they worked right away from install. And we also found that you can turn off the input sound, which is a must, because having the car beeping when you press every single button on the screen is rather annoying. While I was in the car settings, I also found how to turn your background to different colors, as well as the excitement ring around the screen. According to Germet, there are some cool backgrounds coming to this that aren't just color backgrounds, so we're very excited about that. Most of the apps are very well integrated with the UI and look absolutely amazing. My favorite being the clock app. Even apps like DVR look native. We found you can easily fine-tune your audio, and this system makes the stock speakers sound even better. If you had Harman Kardon, I'm not sure how well it would speak to your Harman Kardon OEM amp, but if you were to install an aftermarket amp, you'd be able to fine-tune that and get a crazy sound system in your car. Finally, we got through Chicago, and after a quick fuel break for us and the car, we were on our way. Taking us like a good hour probably, just filling up. That gas machine was way more complicated than it needed to be. Happy, we're ready to get some food and then on our way. We've gone 4.5 hours, 19 to 20 more to go, and we at least have to do, what do you think? Like 4 more tonight.
I think we gotta hit 10 tonight. He got all like the nice view driving in the snow, and like I got all the city driving. Not fair, I think, but Whatever. We've got these.
McDonald's.
I know you need McDonald's, buffoon.
I've had one meal today, 2 pieces of sourdough. So as we were driving, I began to wonder where the service features are. And I found them, and it's just under the car settings app. And here you can change a ton of cool different things, like the time and date, door locks, you can see your average consumption, average speed, and then also reset them here. And then you can also check your tires, like the TPMS sensors. You can check your oil level for both brake fluid, oil, and the vehicle inspection. Unfortunately, I do not see how to either view or add any maintenance history. That might have been lost with your old head unit when you removed it from the car. Check to see if your car needs any maintenance, if there's any check indicators, like a check engine light or what have you. 2 hours and find a hotel, sleep a couple hours. I'm very excited about having a sleep. Finally, we reached our hotel and nearly collapsed into bed.
See you
in the morning. So it is freezing cold and pretty much the middle of the night still. And we have decided that we're gonna do the next mod on this car. And that is, come over here, F67 taillights, let's go. So first things first, remove the old ones. And without breaking any trim, I'm gonna do this without a trim remover tool.
Even though it's brutally cold and he's gonna snap it.
Ouch. Yep.
You snapped it?
Yeah.
Oh, did that one break?
All right, so now we need a Torx bit, a briefcase. Try not to be too loud because people are sleeping. Listen to that crack. This is gonna look so good. Now after this, Ben is an absolute expert at taking the lights out, so it's on to him.
From what I remember from what Ethan told me, you grab, you pull this way, and then you pull, is it up or out?
Up and out.
Up and out.
If someone came out here right now, they'd be like, there's someone dropping taillights off of a Mini Cooper right now.
Let's start this again. So first you come in and give it a swift hit because it's a taillight, it can take it. Then you're gonna grab it from the bottom, grab it from the top. You're gonna grab it from the bottom and grab it from the top and hope and pray it doesn't make you look like an idiot. And let's go. Hook him back up, place our taillight in, like so. It's all connected. We just pop her in, and of course, because you don't wanna be an idiot, come to the front and turn on the car before you screw them in. Turn the car on.
Oh,
Do they
that
work?
looks so good, yeah.
Perfect.
I have Canadian hands. I'm used to being freezing cold.
Let's try not to snap this one because we don't really have a backup. It's been 15 minutes. New taillights on, baby.
All right, let's get in the car warmed up and on the road. After disposing of our car parts in some random garbage bin and a Starbucks coffee, we made our way back onto the road. Awesome, thank you. So this system is absolutely an upgrade for a BIS 01, for one of the F-Series small orange screens, for any R-Series Mini that you have. However, are there any negatives? And why would I prefer an OEM touchscreen over this? Now, once back on the road, our biggest issue was very evident. We did have a little hiccup in the morning. We got out this morning and the temperature was not getting hot. Possibly might be due to the fact that we upgraded the climate control to the aftermarket one, and maybe they're used to dual climate control and ours was a single climate control. Either way, it wasn't working. So on the fly, we just hot swapped it. Many cars and dead. The guy is still in there. Anyway, we hot swapped it back out on the go and now it's fixed and we get our nice warm heat again. So upon later reflection, I believe that the biggest issue here was the fact that our car came with the base AC controls. So basically you have to manually change the fan speed, the temperature, etc. Whereas this infotainment system showed dual climate controls. We reached out to the company and we're happy to report that they are working on this issue. And hopefully there's a solution because we had to swap in the old AC controls and those do not have the hazards button like the aftermarket one that they gave to us. So without that, we're kind of lost without a hazards button and the car may not pass as safety without it. Minnesota has greeted us with open arms and terrible weather.
It'll be nice and clear for a couple minutes and then randomly it'll just be like snow will be everywhere, can't see a thing, it's awful.
So you're about to see that right here. We also noticed that when changing the car from kilometers to miles and back again, that the change didn't take an effect right away. We had to let the car sleep before we noticed a change. Probably because we had one of the first units out there, we did notice that the screen did not fit seamlessly into the frame. We really had to push hard on it, and it did fall out a few times over very large bumps. Maybe we could glue it in, that would probably fix it, but hopefully they fix some of the tolerances there and the screen will stay in. Other than that, I am very happy with it. I tried to give you guys every single thing I could think of, and honestly, it works pretty well. I love how quickly it boots. Probably about 15 seconds. I'll show a little clip of it here. It looks amazing. The graphics are on point. It's responsive, and it really uplifts the experience of these F-Series and R-Series with base infotainment systems. It's probably the best aftermarket mini infotainment system you can buy. So we just made a turn, and I was a bit worried what our next turn would be. However, I don't think I need to worry anymore. 957 miles to our next turn. Looks like we're only going slightly to the right too. So that's our video. We hope you enjoyed. In our next video, we are going to be heading into Canada. At the border, let's go! And there's supposed to be some freezing temperatures below -40 with wind, snow drifts, and everything. So this is where we get to test the car itself. I went to pull the latch and just exploded in my hand. If you haven't yet, please make sure to like and subscribe. It's really appreciate it. I try to be responsive in the comments, so if you have any comments, please leave them down below. Most of all, we hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.